One fun way to get to know your watercolor paints is to create color mixing recipes. I'm Stacy Chacon, and in this video, we're going to fill a sketchbook spread just by playing around with color mixing. Let's get started. Okay, so I wanted to try some color mixing with using this paint set that I have. This is a Sakura Koi pocket-filled sketch box. It's one I've had for years. It usually stays in my backpack, so I can have it on the go. Comes with a water brush. I threw in a little golf pencil. And for the paper I'm using, just a cheapy sketchbook I don't even know. I think I bought it at Barnes & Noble a few years ago. And it's thin paper. It's not watercolor paper. You can see the painting from the other side is kind of bleeding through. And that's okay with me for this. Because I just want to try out kind of a muted watercolor using a palette that is pretty accessible and affordable for most budgets. I think it's about the big box store. It's probably about $20, I think, something like that. And yeah, it comes all together like this. So it's got a mixing tray built in. You can mix up here, or you can mix on this little tray. And I'm going to use a paper towel to just dampen and clean out a few of these wells just to have a clean place to begin. If you're following along, I'll be using this magenta, this kind of turquoise teal color, yellow ochre, and we'll also play around with a little bit of white and a little bit of gray. So I'm going to start with a magenta. I believe this is magenta. I lost my little cheat sheet. Y'all know I keep a cheat sheet. Is this magenta? Not quite as magenta as I would like. Let's try this one. Yeah, that's better. So I'm going to use this for my red, for my magenta. And then I think this is kind of a marine blue. This may be more indigo. Let's see. Yeah, that's a little more indigo than I want to. I might come back to that for something else. Is this a marine blue or is this a cobalt? It's this one. Yes, that's the one I want. Okay. And then this is an ochre, a yellow ochre. That's going to be my yellow. And I'm actually learning to use white watercolor. So that doesn't really happen well. It looks a little dirty. But I'll be mixing that in with my magenta. And then I don't have a Payne's gray in this set, but this does have a gray. And just to show you, that's the gray compared to the black that's in this set. So the black gray has a little more of a blue tint to it. So for my first color, I'm going to pick up this magenta. And I'm going to mix in a little bit of white. Okay, so it's giving us this kind of rosy pink color. And then let's give it a little bit of ochre yellow. And then just a touch of this cobalt blue. I want to go with more magenta because I want it to be a little orangey. Not quite that rusty color. Okay. I want even a little more orangey. Yeah. So that's that. And now let's make it even a little more orangey. Okay. And now let's come in stronger with the magenta. Okay. And now for green, we're going to use this blue. I'll do it over here since I already got green in my undertones. Let's get some of that white in there. And a bit this ochre. I want to be a little more blue. Did I go too far with the blue then? Maybe not. Oh, I like that. Okay, if we do the same thing, but add a little more of the blue. We'll get kind of more of a seafoam blue. I can lighten it up a little more. Now you can always lighten up by just adding water. But I'm learning to work with the white, gives it a bit more of a pastel-y color. Like that. And then if we just add more ochre, a bit more of a earthen color. And then we can add even more ochre. To get more olive green. Okay. So then for our yellows, I can have just the ochre. Okay. And then we can soften that a bit. Adding in some of that white. And maybe just a touch of the magenta. I went too far with the magenta. Come back, ochre. Yeah. And so I'm going to play around with this magenta a little more. But adding in that gray. And maybe just a touch of, oh, that was too far with the ochre. Let's go back to more magenta. And maybe just a touch of peacock yellow. I meant peacock yellow. Whatever this blue is. Yeah, that's nice. Bit more of that gray. Bit more of the gray, darken it more. Yep. Let's go with yellow ochre and Payne's gray. Let's add just a little bit of blue to that. Can brighten that up a little more with a little more yellow ochre. And then we can do that same thing with a little more gray in it. That's a nice green. Yeah, it's really nice. And now let's have that, but add a little magenta to it. Too much magenta. More yellow ochre. Yeah. So now let's get some of this blue. Let's try some blue hues. Good bit of blue over here. And a little ochre. And a little magenta. Oh, that magenta is so much stronger. I'm almost back even with that. A lot more blue. Still not getting the exact blue that I want, I don't think, but that works. Alright, let's have that with a little more of that gray. Let's see what that is. Yeah, that's nice. Okay, Let's see what we get if we go with yellow ochre and Payne's gray. Get more yellow ochre there. And a lot more yellow. If it makes a little white in that, that would cream it up a little bit. Let's add more of this. A little more magenta. Okay, so I can get all these mixes just by using yellow ochre, and magenta, and whatever this blue is, kind of a marine blue. This Payne's gray. And this white is probably a titanium white. That is pretty awesome. And I'm going to label this page so that I know what I used. Okay, so now I have my finished page all labeled as a reference and just a fun exercise. Give this a try and see what colors you can come up with. In the meantime, keep painting and I'll see you in the next video.